Oh my gosh, I am back at the gym, ladies and gentlemen, after a long hiatus. I'm not really a gym rat, but as I gotten older, Magnus, you know this, when we get older, they say that, helping ourselves not to break bones, the best way to do that is to build muscle and do
Yep.
resistant training, either with rubber bands or weights or whatever. Okay. So I joined the gym. And anyways, what's up, everybody? This is Wellness Week Live. I am your host, DJ Anthony, co-host, PhD in Biochem, Magnus in Cali. I'm in
Hey
Jersey.
guys.
It's like 100 over there. It's 100 over here. We're all getting our asses kicked. Yeah, like and subscribe. We're two friends talking. We're not giving you medical advice. Please check with the healthcare professionals. Okay. Magnus. So I joined the gym. And first I want to say this. Like, it's very humbling because I like you. You've been an athlete your whole life. You still are. And I am too. But I have a host of injuries from years of sports. So my particular injuries, I have to go very, very light on the weights, which kind of sucks because I'm humiliating myself. I go into the gym, no shit, dude. When I bench or squat or do curls, I only use the bar. So I feel, not that anybody gives a shit about me, but in my mind, I'm like, everybody's making fun of me. Now I could bench press a lot more than the bar, but because of the injuries I have all throughout my body, I feel like, I'm straining, I'm getting hurt in certain tendons and ligaments. So I'm trying to go very, very easy, bring my body up to speed. Okay. The reason why I mention that is because two things. This is the two topics today. How much time do you need to rest in between, working a body part or weightlifting? And can you truly isolate muscles? Okay. So let's start off with how much time do you need now, Magnus? You hear a lot of gym bros. Yeah, I'm working chest today. Yeah. And then I'm gonna give 3 days rest. And I'm gonna hit it again. Like, shut the fuck up. Like these people make me laugh. Like they don't know shit. So here's my thing, and I read a little bit into this. You tell me what you think about this following statement. Okay, if I bench press, if I work chest today, okay, I will be sore. The goal is to be a little bit sore to make those micro tears in the muscle, so that's how you get big. And then you rest. Now you rest until most of the soreness goes away, which is maybe a day, maybe two, could be three. But I think the key is wait until the soreness mostly goes away and then you hit it again. That could be 12 hours though. So when you hear people give like a just a stamp, like, yeah, you wait 2 days. Like, what are you talking? Every human body is different. Some people might just need to wait 8 hours. Some might need to wait 4 days before hitting chest again. All right, what do you think of that statement, Magnus?
So we can go.
By the way, I just want to say, Magnus, for people watching, Magnus is a trainer. Magnus is a PhD in biochem. He's a nutritionist, former professional athlete, current athlete. So this is the guy over here. He knows what he's talking about. He's not some gym bro. Okay, go ahead, Magnus. Take it away.
So if we're looking at it from a pure biochemistry part, so usually these micro tears and things like that, they take between 24 and 72 hours to heal, basically. They could take longer too, but usually that's what we're talking. And it kind of depends on how badly like these micro tears are. The more sore you are, usually the more tears you have. So the thing is, what's important though, that soreness do not kind of indicate the quality of your workout. So you should not aim to become super, super sore, because that means that you probably did a little bit too hard, or you're doing things that you don't probably know how to do correctly.
You mentioned that. Good thing you mentioned that, because there's a famous bodybuilder, and not that I'm talking about bodybuilders necessarily, but any athletes, but Ronnie Coleman. I think he's a 6-time, 7-time Mr. Olympia. You probably know who he is. He's retired now. Anyways, he can barely walk. He's in a wheelchair. Really, just and the reason why I bring that up is you just mentioned that this guy would go way too heavy, way too hard, and it ruined his body. And a lot of bodybuilders, that are his age or older, are in much better shape because they didn't always go so heavy and so hard. So to your point, just because you're sore, that could be a bad thing too. I mean, you have to balance it out. Go ahead, take it away.
So no, it's super. It's like, so it's interesting that you bring Ronnie Coleman up, because he's actually doing a lot of stem cell work right now. So he's getting better, but he's also he used to power lift too. So he doesn't, not just focusing on bodybuilding. he also focused on, like you said, moving a lot of weight, which you don't see that many. I mean, yes, pro bodybuilders definitely move a lot of weight, but usually they're smarter, so they're trying to make the weights heavier by using different techniques, so they don't have to lift that
I
much
mean,
weight.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is much older than Ronnie Coleman. Arnold
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger is not using a cane and a walker and a wheelchair. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, Ronnie went too hard. And by the way, I love Ronnie Coleman. I think he's great. Anyways, okay. So
Yeah.
right, so the time of rest.
I usually say, so if you're sort of a beginner, you can usually get away with around 2 days in between like workouts. So depending on what you do, I usually train those people with a full body workout. So we might not like hit every single muscle in the body, but we're doing both legs and upper body and core and arms and whatnot. So
Right.
But you usually wait. You train one day, you rest one day, you train one day, you rest one day, and then you usually train. So you train around 3 days a week. That's usually kind of, it works. It's quite good to train three times a week. The more advanced you get, then you start doing a little bit more that you might do upper lower split, or you do push pull and legs. So meaning with that is that you're doing pushing movements one day, and then you're doing pulling movements another day, and then the third day you're doing legs. So.
Yeah. Now here's where I think things get murky. So you tell me, and this is kind of along the lines of, do you really need a break? Okay, let's just, by the way, you were in the military. So let's just say you joined the military. Now, every day, or at the minimum 6 days a week, probably, maybe 7 days a week, you're doing push-ups. Now, that's all micro tears. You're getting no rest. It's every day push-ups. The body physiologically does not know the difference between a push-up and a bench press. It's exerting, it's tearing, or not. So if I'm playing devil's advocate, but if a rest is needed, isn't that maybe kind of malarkey and bullshit? Because again, you're in the military, Army, Navy, Marines, whatever. They're doing push-up. Guys in jail are doing push-ups every friggin' day, and they are ripped. So I don't know. I mean, is the rest only, like, all we need is maybe just go to sleep 7 hours, 8 hours, and then hit it again? Like, I don't know. Like, I think.
So let's look into that. That's a really, really good question that you asked there too. So it's the same thing. If you look at a pro athlete, for instance, we're talking about an NFL guy. They basically lift every single day. They're out. They do field work basically every single day. So that comes down to that you're working up your training volume and your recovery, so you can actually handle more. It's the same thing. For instance, a mechanic using the hands all day, like screwing or digging in.
Construction
like
worker.
They usually have like fat, strong fingers and hands and forearms because they're working hours upon hours on end. It's the same thing there. Your body will get used to it. That's the beauty of it, of a human body. We can do a lot of like load, but then it comes down to this: is it optimal, or are you getting near your maximum capacity? So, and it's better to aim for optimum. I definitely do not train the same muscles day in and day out for hours and hours of bed. There are people that are doing it. Like you said, you mentioned people that are in jail, but that's also a way for them to like be prepared when bad things happen in jail, and also like you are kind of, I think most people are fairly understimulated in jail too.
Yeah.
So that's their stimulation that they get their anxiety, energy, mental health and stuff like that from it too.
Okay, so now good points. All right, so then the other thing I would say is all right, so let's move on then to when you hear people saying this kind of annoys me a little bit, and I know it can be done, but let's move on to isolating body parts. You hear people say, I'm going to do deltoids today and biceps tomorrow. I'm going to isolate. I'm like, listen, moron. I mean, you tell me what you think about this. Okay, I would make the argument. Yes, you could isolate. Let's take a curl. Okay, you're curling with dumbbells. Now, if I am standing up curling, okay, I'm working predominantly the bicep, but I'm also working deltoid, and I would make the argument you're also working abs because you need your abs, the core, you're standing. Now you're not doing a sit-up, but it's hard to isolate unless I was going into a preacher curl and I was, hunkering my body down and I could only use the bicep. And there are machines that do that. So I just think it's, isolating a body part is that's kind of a gray area. But what do you think of that statement, Magnus?
So here's the thing. Usually how I see it. So isolation, when we're talking about an isolation exercise, we're usually talking that you're just moving over one joint. So you were talking about the biceps. So we basically are just using the elbow joint. So that's usually when you're talking about training and isolation exercise, it's usually that it's a single joint exercise. When we're talking about multi-joint exercises, then it becomes more the complex things like the compound lifts. We're talking about the squatting, the deadlifting, the pull-ups, the push-ups, things like that. I think it's extremely hard to isolate single like muscle fibers. Most people don't have that like super control about like actually like central nervous system to be able to move a single muscle or a single fiber. You can see that some bodybuilders are extremely in tune with it, so they can basically, like for instance, like their fibers are, so it's kind of a rippling effect when they're flexing their chest, because they're so in tune with it, and they have worked up the central nervous system to be that precise. It's the same thing with our fingers. We're way better to work with our fingers because we do that all our life. But if we were wearing like mittens, just with thumb mittens and working with that, our hands and fingers will not be able to do that delicate work. So again, you see a lot of that becomes like when you're becoming like a pro bodybuilder and you're starting to say, okay, I'm going to fine tune, I'm going to hit more like the inside of my chest, or I'm going to hit more like I want the peak of my biceps to be bigger. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. But they're also very specific on like building muscle. Most people don't care about it. They either like you just train, your muscle grows, or they shrink.
Right.
So
okay.
Yeah.
So what about lightweight? So for instance, I'm doing lightweight. I have no goal and no desire to ever go heavy. That's relatively speaking. But for me, I'm okay if I never curl more than 30 pounds. Now, I this is rhetorical. I kind of know the answer, but isn't there a benefit to just having even light resistance? Isn't that better than doing no resistance?
Yes. So the science about this, there's a guy, Brad Schoenfeld. He's one of the top guy that goes into details on what rep range is efficient, and it has been proven when it comes to building muscle. If we're talking about that weight doesn't really matter. It's actually how close to failure you come. So you need to get close to failure to actually build
a lighter
muscle.
weight, I would have to do higher reps then.
Exactly, that's what it kind of comes down to. So you have to force yourself to, it starts to become like complex, and that's why if you have to do 20 reps and it's the last 3 that are pretty hard. I mean, yes, you have to kind of, there's a lot of reps that you don't really like, not too much. How should I say it? They don't really count that much. It's kind of like you have to just get through that point.
Yeah, but what about
heavy at the end?
What about?
You're talking about different things also, and that's kind of the injury risk, like lifting heavier weight for lower reps. Actually, it's a higher risk of hurting yourself. It's the same thing. If you're squatting, say for instance, if you're squatting 150 pounds for reps. Okay, if you do, if you get a little bit slide out of position and things like that, and you say, oh yeah, I got that slight tweak, usually you're fine the next day. If you're doing reps at 400 pounds instead, and you kind of get a little bit out of balance,
Of course, you get hurt.
That could be deadly.
Right. But I'm talking about, though, what about you see people, and now, again, I'm not, you're the PhD, I'm not, but I mean, I'd make the argument, isn't it beneficial even if somebody just lifts and curls 10 pounds the rest of their life? Isn't motion better than sitting down on a couch. So you see old ladies, they're in their 80s and 90s, and they do curls of like 2-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
But isn't that better than doing nothing in life?
Again, it all comes down to the individual's goal. If you want to grow muscles, yes, it's going to be hard by doing extremely light weights. But if you're looking at more like health and longevity, definitely you're moving, you're doing something, and you're trying to keep like some muscle mass on your body. Of course, that's going to be better. And I'd rather see someone do something instead of, again, doing nothing. You know,
so the key is you got to get that burn, that shaking of the arm. That's where that spot is where you're going to grow muscle. If you don't have the failure part, then you're not going to grow muscle, but you'll at least be moving and healthy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing also, like just keeping strength and muscle. Once you get it, it's easier to keep it and have it than trying to like gain more muscles or become stronger, right? So that is also important, but just trying to keep as much muscle mass as possible. I'm not talking about pro bodybuilders. We're talking about general population growing older.
Yeah,
we are losing a lot of muscle mass.
Of course, because we sit on our ass all day.
After, I think it's after 35 years old.
Yeah. So, by the way, you're breaking up. You're breaking up, buddy.
That's why I continuously keep on pushing people to.
You're breaking up. Now you're not. But no, I'll talk. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And I would also make the argument it doesn't have to be weights. You can do resistance training with large rubber bands, or like, for instance, I cycle. Now, I'm not bragging, but my calves are huge and they're ripped. I don't weightlift. I don't weightlift my calves. But if you see my calves, it's like, holy shit. And that's just because of years and decades of cycling, which is resistant training. It's resistance. It's cycling, So it's resistance training. Could be weights. It could be rubber bands. It could be the big ropes that you throw up and down. It could be push-ups, sit-ups, So it's a relative term. But are you frozen still? I don't even know you are. Real quick. No, that's okay, Magnus. You're lucky because I like talking. So that's okay. Can we real quick? Let's talk about those are the two topics. But I just want to add. I see people at the gym, particularly gym bros, that they're doing whatever curls or lat pull downs, and they're jerking and swaying, and I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, they have a lot of weight on the bar, but they're not really doing the weight. They're swaying and jerking, and let's talk about that. Like staying still, staying composed, slow, not going fast, not swaying and jerking and doing it. I mean, how important is that? And you're frozen again. Oh, damn it.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to this. They're not lifting the weights under control. It comes down to technique, that you need to be in control, use the right amount of weight. And also, like, because momentum, it's not muscle. You're using muscles that you're not supposed to, and you're just trying to move heavy weights.
But these gym bros just want to look cool.
Yeah, and the thing is, they don't, like, people that actually know about training. We usually just shake our heads. It's like it's an ego thing. And then, but the fun thing is that then you have a pro bodybuilder that comes in and doing like biceps curls with 25 pounds, because they know how to use that weight and they know how to recruit the right muscles and things like that. So work on technique, always work on technique. You like, we always say that you're trying to kind of, every single rep should almost look the same, right? You might have like, it might slow down a little bit at the end, but otherwise your reps should be like spitting image of one another.
Right. Yep. Slow and control. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's all I got to say. Magnus, anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, great questions, great topics. It's always fun talking about training too. So yeah.
Yeah, man. No, I'm trying to do you proud. When I'm in the gym, I'm saying to myself, what would Magnus say? What would Magnus say right now? I go slow. I go controlled. I breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. I don't go fast. I got to make Magnus proud. All right.
I love it. I think it's awesome that you're back in the gym, and it's it's cool that you actually just took this step. I mean, it's sometimes, when you're out, it's like, I don't want to do it. But actually, like taking that step and getting back into it, and yeah, to be honest, it sucks usually the first couple of weeks, but once you get into it.
Yeah, no, but it's also good for the mind. I feel
100%.
better. I feel healthier just up here. Never mind, like it's so good just to be moving and being around people. And, so it's so important. I would say, I don't want to get into this, but, if anybody out there is struggling with mental health, it doesn't matter, stress, anxiety, fear of anything, get out, walk. That's free. Push-ups are free. Join a gym. Gym memberships are so cheap out there. $15 a month, $20 a month. You got money for how many shoes? You got money for what? You got money for how many subscription plans? You can join the gym. Like just even if you just throw around 5 pounds, get out, walk. It's better or equally as powerful as prescription medications. Studies have said. Go read it for yourself. Don't trust me. I'm not a doctor. Okay. So Magnus, thank you, everybody. Thanks for checking in, everyone.
Thanks,
like,
guys.
subscribe. And we got another bunch of great shows coming up, everybody. I'm out of here. Magnus, thank you as always, buddy.
Later, Anthony.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.